I woke up to a sound that didn't belong in my apartment. It wasn't the hum of the refrigerator or the distant siren from the street below. It was softer. A breath. Slow. Careful. Human. For a moment, I stayed completely still, my eyes closed, my mind racing through impossible explanations. I lived alone. I always had. No roommates. No overnight guests. No reason for another person to be in my bedroom. And yet, someone was here. I opened my eyes. The morning light slipped through the half-open blinds, painting pale gold lines across the room. And there, sitting on the edge of the small armchair near my window, was a woman I had never seen before. She wasn't panicking. She wasn't searching through my things. She was just sitting. Hands folded in her lap. Head slightly bowed. As if she belonged there. My heart slammed against my ribs. "Hey," I said, my voice hoarse. "Who are you?" She looked up slowly, like she had been expecting that exact question. Her eyes were tired. Not sleepy, tired. The kind that comes from too many nights without rest and too many days carrying something heavy. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "I didn't mean to scare you." That wasn't an answer. I pushed myself upright, every muscle tense. "How did you get into my apartment?" She glanced toward the door, then back at me. The door was unlocked. "That's impossible," I said. "I always." "I know," she interrupted gently. "You lock it every night." 3 times. I noticed. That sent a chill down my spine. I stared at her. "You noticed?" She swallowed, clearly realizing how that sounded. "I mean, last night. When you came home. You were tired. You dropped your keys twice." My head throbbed as memories tried to surface. Last night had been a blur of overtime, rain, and exhaustion. I remembered collapsing onto the bed fully clothed. I didn't remember letting a stranger in. "I didn't invite you," I said carefully. "I know," she replied. "And I promise, I'm not here to hurt you. I'm just staying here for one night." I let out a short, humorless laugh. That's usually how horror movies start. She almost smiled. "Almost. I don't have anywhere else to go," she said. The room fell quiet again. Outside, a car horn blared. Life went on like this moment wasn't unraveling everything I thought I understood. I rubbed my face. "What's your name?" She hesitated. Just a fraction of a second too long. "Lena," she said. "Is that your real name?" She met my eyes. "It's the name I'm using today." That answer should have made me tell her to leave immediately. Call the police. Do something smart. Instead, I asked, "Why my apartment?" Her gaze drifted to the window. "Because you're kind." I laughed again, sharper this time. "You don't know me." "I do," she said quietly. That stopped me. She stood up then, and I realized how small she looked in my space, like she was borrowing air she didn't feel entitled to. "I watched you help the old man downstairs carry his groceries," she continued. "Even when you were late for work. I saw you give your umbrella to a woman at the bus stop and walk home in the rain." My chest tightened. Those moments had felt insignificant. Things no one noticed. Except she had. "That still doesn't explain why you're here," I said. She took a breath. "Because last night, I needed somewhere safe. Just for one night. And you left your light on." I glanced toward the living room. Sure enough, the lamp by the couch was still glowing faintly. "I won't touch anything," she added quickly. "I won't take anything. I'll be gone by morning." "It is morning," I said. She looked at the clock, then back at me. "Then I'll be gone soon." Something in her voice made my stomach drop. Soon as in, how soon? She didn't answer right away. Instead, she asked, do you believe that people sometimes cross paths for a reason? I sighed. Lady, I just woke up with a stranger in my room. Philosophy might be a bit much right now. She smiled this time. Really smiled. And for a second, despite everything, the room felt warmer. I won't be a problem, she said. You won't even remember me in a few days. I didn't know why, but that idea bothered me more than it should have. Lena, I said slowly, if you're in trouble, real trouble, I can help. But you can't just appear in someone's life and disappear like it means nothing. Her smile faded. That's exactly what I do, she whispered. Silence wrapped around us again. I should have told her to leave. Instead, I asked, did you sleep at all? She shook her head. I swung my legs off the bed and stood. Then you're staying for breakfast. Her eyes widened. I told you. One night, I said. And a cup of coffee. After that, you can go wherever you want. She studied me, like she was trying to memorize my face. Okay, she said finally. But you're going to regret being nice to me. I shrugged. I already regret most things. She laughed softly. The coffee machine hissed and sputtered like it was offended to be awake this early. Lena stood near the kitchen counter, her hands wrapped around a chipped mug I barely used. She looked different out of the bedroom light, less like a stranger who had appeared out of nowhere and more like someone who had always existed quietly on the edges of the world. You don't have to watch me like that, she said without looking up. I'm not watching, I replied. I'm making sure you don't disappear. She glanced at me then, her lips pressing into a thin line. I don't do magic tricks. Could have fooled me. She smiled faintly, then took a careful sip of coffee like it might burn more than just her tongue. We stood there in silence for a moment. Not awkward silence. The kind that feels heavy because it's full of things no one is saying. So, I said, leaning against the counter. You broke into my apartment, knew my habits, and slept in my room. Anything else I should know? I didn't sleep in your bed, she said quickly. That wasn't the concern. She lowered her eyes. I slept on the floor. By the window. That landed harder than I expected. Why didn't you use the couch? She hesitated. Because I wanted to see the sky when I woke up. In case it was my last normal morning. I frowned. Your last what? She shook her head. Forget I said that. I didn't press her. Not yet. Whatever Lena was running from, it wasn't something she'd give up easily. I noticed then that she was wearing the same clothes from the night before, an oversized hoodie and jeans, both wrinkled, both damp at the edges like they'd seen rain recently. You hungry? I asked. She nodded, then quickly corrected herself. I mean, if it's not a problem. I pulled eggs from the fridge. It's already a problem. Might as well commit to it. That made her laugh. A real laugh this time. Short, surprised. Like she hadn't expected kindness to keep happening. You're strange, she said. Funny, I replied. I was about to say the same thing. While I cooked, I felt her eyes on me. Not in a creepy way. In a curious way. Like she was trying to understand how someone like me existed. Why are you being nice? She asked suddenly. I cracked an egg into the pan. Why wouldn't I be? Most people don't trust strangers, she said. Especially ones who appear in their bedrooms. I shrugged. You don't look dangerous. She went very still. That's usually how it works, she said quietly. I turned to look at her. Works how? She forced a smile. People assume I'm harmless. It makes things easier. For you? For them. The egg sizzled. Outside, the city continued its usual rhythm, cars passing, voices drifting upward, life moving forward. I didn't always live like this, she said suddenly, her voice low. Showing up places. Leaving before anyone asks questions. What happened? I asked. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she asked, do you believe people can disappear without dying? Yes, I said. I've seen it. She looked surprised. You have? My dad, I said. One day he just checked out. Still alive. Still breathing. But not really there. Lena studied me like she was seeing me clearly for the first time. That's the kind of disappearing I mean, she said. The kind where you erase yourself so no one can hurt you anymore. I slid the eggs onto 2 plates and set one in front of her. She stared at it like it was something precious. When was the last time you ate? I asked. She thought about it. Yesterday morning. I think. I sat across from her. You don't think? My days blur together. She took a bite. Her shoulders relaxed almost instantly, like food had unlocked something inside her. This is good, she murmured. It's eggs, I said. It's warm, she replied. That counts. We ate quietly. I noticed her glancing at the door every few minutes, like she expected it to burst open. You waiting for someone? I asked. She shook her head too fast. No. That answer told me everything. Lena, I said gently, if someone is looking for you. They won't come here, she interrupted. I made sure of that. How? She looked away. I'm good at disappearing. After breakfast, she stood and rinsed her plate without being asked. You don't have to do that, I said. I do, she replied. I don't want to leave traces. The word leave echoed between us. When are you planning to go? I asked. Before noon, she said. It's safer that way. Safer from who? She met my eyes, and for the first time, I saw fear there. Real fear. From the life I walked away from. I opened my mouth to ask more. And her phone buzzed. She froze. The color drained from her face as she pulled it from her pocket. The screen lit up with a single notification. Unknown number. Her fingers trembled. I have to go, she whispered. Right now? Yes. She grabbed her hoodie, her movements rushed and unsteady. Lena, I said, standing. You said one night. I know, she replied, tears shining in her eyes. That's why this hurts more than it should. She moved toward the door, then stopped. Thank you, she said softly. For treating me like a person. Before I could respond, she slipped out into the hallway. The door clicked shut. And just like that, she was gone. I stood there, staring at the closed door, my apartment suddenly feeling too quiet. Then I noticed something on the kitchen table. A folded piece of paper. I picked it up and unfolded it slowly. Written in hurried handwriting were 4 words. Please don't look for me. I should have listened. But some strangers don't walk into your life by accident. And some goodbyes are just the beginning. I tried to forget her. I really did. I went to work. Answered emails. Sat through meetings I barely heard. But every quiet moment, my mind drifted back to the way Lena held that coffee mug like it was the only warm thing left in her world. Please don't look for me. The note burned in my pocket all day. By evening, I gave up pretending I was the kind of person who could ignore a mystery like that. I started small. The building manager, Mrs. Kaplan, was watering plants near the lobby when I came down. Morning, I said casually. Did you see anyone leave my floor earlier? She squinted at me. Tall girl? Dark hoodie? My chest tightened. Yeah. She looked scared, Mrs. Kaplan said. Kept checking over her shoulder. That was all I needed to hear. I went back upstairs, unlocked my apartment, and stood in the doorway like it might tell me what to do next. Then I noticed something I hadn't before. The window. It was cracked open, just slightly. And taped to the inside of the glass was a tiny scrap of paper I didn't recognize. I peeled it off. An address. Not far. 10 minutes by subway. I didn't even hesitate. The place was a coffee shop that looked like it had survived 100 winters and given up on being trendy decades ago. Dim lights. Scratched tables. A bell that rang softly when I pushed the door open. She was there. Sitting in the back, hood up, staring at her phone like it might explode. When she saw me, her face went pale. You weren't supposed to follow me, she whispered. You left me an address, I said. Her jaw tightened. I left you a warning. I slid into the chair across from her. You're not very good at disappearing. She exhaled slowly. I needed to know if you would. If I would what? Care enough to break the rules. I leaned back. Congratulations. You found a man with poor self-control. That almost made her smile. Almost. They know where I am now, she said quietly. Who's they? I asked. She looked around the shop, then leaned in. My husband. The word hit me like a punch. You're married? I said. I was, she replied. Legally, maybe I still am. My chest felt tight for reasons I didn't want to examine. He's not a good man, she continued. He doesn't like losing control. And I was his favorite thing to control. I clenched my jaw. Does he know you're here? Not yet, she said. But he will. Right on cue, her phone buzzed again. She didn't answer. Lena, I said firmly. You can't just keep running. You need help. She laughed bitterly. From who? The police? They already tried. He's rich. Connected. Charming. That doesn't make him untouchable. It does where I come from. The doorbell rang. Lena flinched so hard she knocked her cup over. I turned slowly. A man stood just inside the cafe, scanning the room. Tall. Well-dressed. Calm. Too calm. When his eyes landed on Lena, his lips curved into a smile that didn't reach them. There you are, he said. Every instinct in my body screamed danger. Lena, I murmured, go. She was already standing. The man took a step closer. You didn't think you could disappear forever, did you? I rose to my feet, placing myself between them. You need to leave, I said. He looked me up and down, amused. And who are you? Someone she doesn't belong to, I replied. His smile sharpened. She belongs to me. Lena's hand gripped my sleeve. She doesn't, she said, her voice shaking but firm. Not anymore. The man's eyes darkened. We'll discuss this at home, he said softly. She's not going with you, I said. For a moment, I thought he might hit me. Instead, he laughed. This isn't over, he said to Lena. You can't hide behind strangers forever. He turned and walked out. The door closed behind him with a soft chime. The cafe felt like it exhaled. Lena sank back into her chair, trembling. He found me, she whispered. It's happening again. I sat beside her, close enough that our shoulders touched. Not alone, I said. Not this time. She looked at me, tears spilling freely now. "Why are you doing this?" she asked. I didn't have a clever answer. "I don't know," I admitted. "But I know I'm not letting him take you." She rested her forehead against my shoulder. For the first time, she didn't pull away. And that's when I realized something terrifying. I wasn't just protecting a stranger anymore. I was falling for her. We didn't go back to my apartment right away. Lena insisted we walk. Busy streets. Crowds. Places where shadows didn't linger too long. She kept her head down, her steps quick, like the city itself was something she could blend into if she tried hard enough. "My husband's name is Victor," she said finally. "He likes to be called successful. Other people call him dangerous." "Why didn't you report him?" I asked. She let out a hollow laugh. "I did. We stopped at a crosswalk. The light turned red. Cars rushed past us like they had somewhere important to be. He never hit me where people could see," she continued. "He never left proof. He took my phone, my bank access, my ID whenever he was angry. Then he'd apologize. Buy flowers. Donate to charities." The light changed. We crossed. "He made everyone believe I was unstable," she said. "That I needed him." My fists clenched. "That's textbook control." "Yes," she said quietly. "And it works." We reached a small park and sat on a cold metal bench. "I planned my escape for 6 months," she said. "I hid cash. I memorized bus routes. I practiced lying in the mirror so my voice wouldn't shake." I turned to her. "Why leave now?" She looked at the ground. "Because last week he told me he wanted a child." I sucked in a breath. "He said it would fix things," she whispered. I knew then I had to go. Children don't fix cages. They become part of them. I reached for her hand without thinking. She didn't pull away. "When I ran, I went somewhere he wouldn't expect," she said. "Normal. Quiet. Someone kind." "Me," I said softly. She nodded. "I watched you for days," she admitted. "Not in a creepy way. I promise. Just enough to know you weren't cruel." I left my door unlocked, I realized aloud. "Yes," she said. "On purpose. I didn't break in." That should have made me angry. Instead, it made my chest ache. "You trusted me with your life," I said. "I trusted you with one night," she corrected. "I didn't plan to matter to you." I laughed weakly. "You're doing a terrible job of not mattering." Her eyes filled again. "I'm scared," she said. "He won't stop. Victor doesn't lose." "He can," I said. "We just have to do this right." She looked up. "You're talking like you're part of this." "I am," I replied. "Whether you like it or not." For a moment, she searched my face, like she was waiting for the mask to slip. Instead, she leaned forward and hugged me. It wasn't passionate. It was desperate. Her body shook against mine as months of fear poured out silently. I held her, aware that letting go would feel like abandonment. After a long moment, she pulled back. "You shouldn't get involved," she said. "He'll come after you." "I'm already involved," I said. "He saw me." She nodded slowly. "Then you need to know everything." She told me about the cameras in their house. The trackers in her phone. The private investigator Victor hired the first time she tried to leave. "How did you get away this time?" I asked. "I smashed my phone," she said. "Bought a cheap one with cash. No accounts. No apps. And he still found you." "Yes." We sat in silence again. Then she said something that made my blood run cold. "He doesn't want me back because he loves me," she said. He wants me back because I embarrassed him. That night, I let her stay at my place again. I locked the door. Twice. 3 times. She slept on the couch this time, but I stayed awake, listening to every sound the building made. At 2:17 a.m., my phone buzzed. Unknown number. A message appeared. You don't know who you're protecting. Walk away. I stared at the screen, my heart pounding. I typed back before I could stop myself. She's not alone anymore. 3 dots appeared. Then vanished. I didn't sleep after that. Because I knew one thing for certain. Victor wasn't done. And neither was I. The knock came at 6:42 a.m. Not loud. Not angry. Polite. That's what terrified me. I was already awake, sitting on the edge of my bed fully dressed. Lena slept lightly on the couch, her arms wrapped around herself like she was holding the pieces together. The knock came again. I moved slowly, every step careful, and looked through the peephole. 2 police officers. My heart dropped, but not in relief. I opened the door just enough. Sir, the taller one said, calm and professional, we're looking for a woman named Lena Morales. Lena sat up instantly. I felt her presence behind me before I heard her footsteps. I'm here, she said. The officers turned. Ma'am, the female officer said gently, your husband filed a missing persons report. He says he's worried about your safety. Lena laughed, short and hollow. That's funny, she said. Because I ran to save my life. The officers exchanged a look. We'd like to ask you a few questions, the male officer said. At the station. I'm not going anywhere with him, I said, my voice firm. The officer raised a hand. Sir, this doesn't involve you. It does if you drag her back to her abuser, I replied. Lena reached for my hand. I'll go, she whispered. But not alone. The station smelled like disinfectant and old coffee. Victor was already there. Sitting calmly. Smiling politely. When he saw Lena, his face softened into practiced concern. There you are, he said, standing. You scared me. She didn't respond. He turned to me. And you must be the hero, he said. Thank you for keeping my wife safe. My name isn't relevant, I replied. Victor chuckled. Of course it is. We were separated for questioning. That was the hardest part. Sitting alone while a man with power and patience rewrote reality somewhere down the hall. After what felt like hours, the female officer returned. Mr. Victor Morales has no criminal record, she said carefully. And without physical evidence, there's little we can do. So that's it? I asked. You just sent her back? She's an adult, the officer replied. It's her choice. Lena emerged moments later. Victor approached her, his voice low. Let's go home, he said. We'll forget this ever happened. She looked at him. Then at me. Then she took a step back. No, she said. The room went silent. Victor's smile cracked. You don't know what you're doing, he warned. I do, she said, her voice shaking but strong. I'm choosing myself. And him? Victor sneered. She reached for my hand. Yes, she said. Him. Victor's eyes burned into mine. This ends badly, he said quietly. Not today, I replied. We left together. Outside, Lena's legs gave out. I caught her. I'm sorry, she sobbed. I dragged you into this. I held her face, forcing her to look at me. You didn't drag me, I said. I walked in. She kissed me then. Not soft. Not gentle. Desperate. Honest. Real. For a moment, the world disappeared. Then reality returned. "He won't stop," she whispered against my chest. "I know," I said. "So what do we do?" I took a breath. "We disappear," I said. "Properly. Together." Her eyes widened. "You'd do that?" "I'd do more," I replied. "But this is where we start." She nodded slowly. "Then this isn't just one night anymore," she said. "No," I said. "It's a life." We left that night. No dramatic goodbyes. No packed suitcases. Just 2 backpacks, cash, and the quiet understanding that once we stepped out of that apartment, there was no going back. We took a bus heading north. No destination at first, just distance. Lena sat by the window, watching the city fade into darkness. I kept my eyes forward, every muscle tight, waiting for headlights that might follow us. "They'll look for patterns," she said softly. "Hotels, airports, credit cards." "Then we give them none," I replied. We got off in a town so small it barely showed up on maps. A place where people nodded instead of stared. Where questions weren't asked and less invited. I found work at a hardware store. Lena started helping at a local library, shelving books, repairing old spines like she was carefully putting herself back together. We didn't talk much about Victor. But he was always there. In the way she jumped at sudden knocks. In the way I checked mirrors twice. At night, she slept curled against me, like she was afraid that if she let go, the world would take her back. One evening, weeks later, she spoke the fear out loud. "He'll find us," she said. "He always does." I traced slow circles on her back. "Then we'll be ready." She turned to face me. "What if he hurts you?" I met her eyes. Then it was worth it. Tears slipped down her cheeks. "No one has ever chosen me like this," she whispered. I kissed her forehead. "Get used to it." The letter arrived on a Tuesday. No return address. Inside was a single sheet of paper. "You can't hide forever." Lena's hands shook as she read it. I burned it in the sink. That night, I made a decision. We contacted a legal aid group that specialized in domestic abuse cases. Quietly. Carefully. They listened. They believed her. And this time, Victor made a mistake. He showed up. Not to us, but to them. Threats. Pressure. Money. And finally, evidence. Old security footage. Witness testimony. Financial records he never thought anyone would connect. The case moved fast after that. He didn't come quietly. But he went. The day the restraining order became permanent, Lena stood outside the courthouse and breathed like she'd been underwater for years. "It's over," she said. I shook my head gently. "No," I said. "It's beginning." A year later, we live somewhere else now. A place with big windows and no shadows. Lena laughs easily. Sleeps deeply. Trusts slowly, but truly. Sometimes, she still tells the story of the night she slept on a stranger's floor. One night, she says with a smile. I correct her every time. One night, I say, that turned into forever. She squeezes my hand. And every morning I wake up beside her, I'm grateful I opened the door. Because sometimes, the most dangerous strangers are the ones who save us.